Good morning, dear students. This is the second video of chapter 4, Geography. Chapter name is Agriculture. This video is for the student of standard 10. Students, here in this video, we will just recall what we have read in the previous topic. Then after that, we will cover the type of agriculture, and first type we will just explain over here. We will understand over here, that is primitive subsistence farming. So let's see one by one the different types of farming, but first slide will give you the idea what we have read in previous topic. When we talk about agriculture, so in last video you have seen primitive activity which produces most of the food that we consume. The word agriculture is derived from the Latin word we covered already, ager and cultura, ager meaning field and cultura means to grow. An art of cultivation of soil, raising crops and rearing poultry and livestock. These all comes under agriculture. India is an agriculturally important country. We have read that 2/3 of our populations are engaged in agriculture. Largest sector producing around 28% of the GDP, gross domestic production. Largest employer providing more than 60% of the jobs. Okay, because many people are engaged in the agriculture, so that's why it is the largest employer providing job. Besides food, it produces raw materials for industries. So some agriculture products like tea, coffee, spices, etc. are also exported. So here, first we will discuss about the first type of agriculture or farming, that is primitive subsistence farming. First you will have to understand, students, that what do you mean by primitive and subsistence. Primitive means primary and subsistence means for the survival. Imagine if a farmer is living in an area which is very small. On that small plot, he is somehow managing to grow some crops, but that crops is not surplus, so that he cannot just sell that crop in the market. So that person, the farmer who just involved in the cultivation, so that is called primitive subsistence farming, where farmer is growing that much which he and his family, on that only they can survive. So this is the primitive subsistence farming. After the soil loses, you can see here it involves clearing a plot of land by felling trees, burning the felled trees, mixing the ashes with soil and then growing crops. Many where this primitive subsistence farming are just practiced in different way. Somewhere in forest regions, people are just cutting down the trees, burning the trees and mixing the ashes of the trees in the soil. So this way somehow they were managing the soil for the cultivation. This is called jhum cultivation or slash and burn farming. It has different names we will cover in the next part. After the soil loses its fertility, the land is abandoned and the cultivators moves on to new plot. So this way, this is not good for the environment, that farmers are just cutting down the trees. Those farmers who are living nearby the forest areas, they are doing such type of activities, as well as many tribal communities who are living in dense forest, they are also in a practice of this type of jhum cultivation or slash and burn farming. Practiced on small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dhow and digging sticks and family community labor. Okay, their farmers are not bringing the labor from outside because they are just doing the cultivation for the sustenance of the life. So depends upon monsoon, soil natural fertility and another environmental condition. Here farmers are not applying because they don't have enough money. Okay, so this they are not doing for the earning of money. This they are doing only for the sustenance of life. So this way they are depending on the monsoon for getting the rain, soil natural fertility they are depending. They are completely dependent on the environmental condition. Next is the crop like maize, yam, potatoes, Maize, yam, potatoes and cassava are grown on the cleared land. You can see here akka/burn cultivation practiced in few pockets of northeast. Okay, our northeast regions, hilly regions are just famous for the jhum cultivation. You can see here, students, shifting agriculture across the world. Different name it has. It is practiced in different parts of the country. Okay, it has different names. Milpa in Mexico and Central America, Conuco in Venezuela, Roca in Brazil. These are the different names. Okay, these are the different names of the jhum cultivation or slash and burn farming, but the farmers are doing the same thing everywhere. They are cutting down the forest, they are just cutting down the trees, burning it, mixing the ashes into the soil so that the soil can get some fertility. So Roca it is called in Brazil, Masol in Central Africa, Ladang in Indonesia, Ray in Vietnam, Bewar or Dahiya in Madhya Pradesh, Podu or Penda in Andhra Pradesh, then Pama Dabul, that is Koman, Bringa in Orissa, Kumari in Western Ghats, Valre, Walter in Southeast Rajasthan, Khil in the Himalayan belt, then after that Kuruva in Jharkhand and Jhuming in the northeastern and Andaman region. So these are the different names. These are very important, students. You will have to learn each and every name which are of the jhum cultivation, which are practiced in different regions. You can see here, students, this is one image, one picture of jhum cultivation, how farmers are clearing down the forest regions. Okay, how they are just clearing down the forest regions, they are cutting down the trees, clearing the land, clearing the pocket of land or patch of land. You can see they are burning also, they are burning the trees, mixing the ashes. So this is under the jhum cultivation. It is also known as shifting cultivation because after the cultivation of one area, after doing cultivation in one area, farmers now move on to the next area. So that's why it is also known as shifting cultivation, because farmers used to shift the area from one place to another. These are the images, students, which will help you to understand that how in this way it leads to the deforestation also. Here some advantages and disadvantages of jhum cultivation. So advantages and disadvantages of jhum. Disadvantages are very common. You can just easily say that it leads to the deforestation. Okay. So known by different names in different parts of the country, jhum cultivation in northeast. It has name jhum cultivation in northeast. It eliminates weeds. Okay. Because in this process farmers used to burn the unwanted crops, insects and other germs affecting the soil. So these all are just burned. Allows the nature to replenish soil fertility by natural processes. So here no manure, no chemical fertilizers farmers are using. So it just allow the nature to retain the fertility of the soil. Because after doing the cultivation, what they are doing, they are just leaving the land for 20 years or next 10 years. Excuse me. Allowing for farming in new areas, in areas with dense vegetation, low soil nutrients content, uncontrollable pests. So this way these farmers are able, jhum cultivators are able to cultivate in such type of areas also which is not favorable for the cultivation, where pests you cannot control. So this is advantage. Trees in the forest are cut. This is disadvantage. When soil fertility decreases, farmers shift and clear a fresh patch. This is also disadvantage. This leads to the deforestation. Productivity is low. How much any farmer can just grow from such type of land which is infertile? So for productivity is low over here. That's why it is coming in the category of primitive subsistence farming. Whatever farmers are just growing, that is very less. Okay, and on that less quantity of crops, farmers can just survive, their family can just survive only, they cannot earn the surplus money. Decreases soil infertility and leads to soil erosion. So this way when you just lose the soil, it will lead to the soil erosion. That is disadvantage of this. So this is the end of the video, students. I hope you understand. Thank you, everyone.